How ya all, Worm here. In this episode of eveonline careers, I'll be going over a seldom known yet quite lucrative career. The name? Item contracting. Contracts are one of the primary ways outside of station trading for players to sell items. Usually they are used to sell items of high volume or variety, usually at a markdown price to encourage purchase. Item contracting is the act of purchasing these contracts, then hauling and selling them where you gain the most value. This sub-career would fit in with the hauling career path due to the nature of the contracts, and you need to move the contents onto other locations. You can find item exchange contracts of this type all over New Eden, but it's important to appraise the value of the contract before purchasing. Luckily, players have created many tools for this job, notably the third-party tool eveonline. Depending on the contract and markdown of the price compared to a trade hub, you can stand to make some decent ISK. However, there's another part of this career where much higher gains can be made. So, where's the real ISK to be made in this career? The landscape of nullsec is constantly shifting. For many, they usually have to pack up and go quickly, leaving valuable cargo behind. Once the citadel they kept their items in is destroyed or unanchored, the player contents are protected by a system called asset safety, which allows the player to have them sent to a different station. But many times the player doesn't act on this, if they are taking the break from Eve, or they just don't notice or care. As such, those assets are moved automatically to the closest low-sec system with an NPC station. When the player finally accesses their items, usually they find it easier just to sell it all off in contracts, rather than go through the process of moving it out of low-sec. This also presents its own set of dangers, as the systems these assets usually land in can have their gates camped by pirates on the hunt for players moving assets around. If you're careful and you plan ahead, this can be a great way of earning ISK, as players usually sell their bulk items at a very marked down price. An example is when a new alliance takes over systems from another. The previous occupants usually bulk sell their items via contracts before leaving. These are usually snapped up pretty quickly, and can be a great way of seeding a new market or moving the goods on elsewhere. Sadly, this doesn't apply to wormhole space, as asset safety is not enabled there. Item contracting can be a very enjoyable way to play Eve and earn decent profit. It can take you from one end of New Eden to the other. For me, I usually keep a lot of the items I purchase to fuel another player-driven career, which I will go into in my next video. I hope you enjoyed watching. As usual, please leave any feedback in the comments below, and I am working hard to improve these videos' watchability and enjoyment. Thanks pilots, and fly safe.